Hello everyone, and welcome to what might be the last in this A10-CII Quick Start series. This is the last thing I have planned to cover, and today we're going to be looking at the RWR. So I've set up a little mission here where basically we're doing what you shouldn't really do in an A10 and fly straight into a whole load of enemy SAM sites just to get some idea of what the RWR looks like when you're being investigated, when you're being locked, and when you've been launched on. So mostly today we're going to be focusing on two segments. This is the RWR display right here, and this is your quick view of what is going on with your countermeasure systems. Notably here, we're going to be keeping an eye on the jammer settings, and here the missile launch queue. Okay, so here we are just flying forward a little bit. I've just unpaused it, and we've already got our first couple of contacts. So here on our RWR display, we've currently got two things detecting us. Now, the RWR display shows you the azimuth to whatever is trying to lock you, whatever you're getting radar pings from, but it does not show the distance. So here I've got something off my nose, the designation BB, and something off about my 9 to 10 o'clock, the designation 15. I've just got this paused here so we can discuss this, but we've got notable symbology here. So whatever has the diamond around it is whatever your RWR has decided is your primary threat. So here it's decided this 15 is the primary threat. The two-digit designations that are given are codes for the type of radar you're being locked by. Now there are a huge number of these. Some really make a lot of sense, some are a bit more obscure. I'd definitely recommend looking at Chuck's guide. He's got a very good table there of all the designations that the A10 can pick up. Or otherwise, if you just do a quick Google search, having a little cheat sheet nearby so you can identify these as useful. But as you go and play, you'll kind of notice yourself learning what all of the major designations are. So in this case, we've got a F-15 here, shown by the designation 15. And here, this is the SA-10 Big Bird site that is detecting us. Other designations that we've got here, this little chevron on top means this is an air threat. So that makes sense for an F-15. This is just telling me this is a plane. Over here, this is the Big Bird site. I've got this half circle above it. That is just indicating whatever is my most recent contact. At the same time, whenever you do get a new contact, you will get an audible beep. And so you can just quickly look at your RWR, see what has this half circle on, and that is the new thing you need to be concerning yourself with. Now, the notable thing to note is this is not a radar. It does not indicate distance at all, only azimuth. Instead, how close things are to the core of this circle is how dangerous the system is thinking that threat is. So here, my two contacts are in the outside of the circle. It means I shouldn't be too concerned about them. Just need to be aware of their positions. When things start to become a more significant threat, such as when they're locking, they will move into the inner ring. We'll see that as we go on. For now, we're just going to continue on until we get a little bit closer. And just one thing to note, if you listen here, you can hear beeping. That is just reminding you that you are getting pinged by a radar. So there's no lock established, but that is just to audibly remind you that something is there, just in case you've missed the initial audible tone for that initial lock or initial contact. One other thing to note, just as we're closing in on the enemy shorter range SAM sites, is there is no IFF designation on the RWR. It will tell you what type of radar you're being locked at, but you can't tell if it's friend or foe other than applying what you know. So in this case, I know that there is no hostile F-15 in the air. We have friendly F-15, so I can safely ignore that. I also know that NATO is not employing SA-10s, and so that Big Bird site is something that I need to concern myself about. There we go, just as we're closing, I've got a new lock. See a new signal coming in. This is a 15. This is now an SA-15. Where I can tell that from an F-15 is there is no little vertical chevrons. This is a ground-based site. Ground-based site with the 15 designation is a SA-15 SAM site. Again, it's not quite locked me yet, but as I'm getting closer, we can see it moving towards the center. Again, that's not a distance designation. That is meaning that the signal is getting stronger and stronger. And there we go. I now have a new target. I am not being fully locked now, but this is definitely painting me. It has been assigned to my major target. I get a full circle around it, showing that it is now locking me. So all of that happened rather quickly. So as a reminder, this gets put into a diamond when this is now the critical threat. It did that just as I was starting to get heavy nails, but not locked. When I do get fully locked there, I get the full circle around, and the warning tone will increase. And then seconds after I got locked there, we heard the very loud beeping, and I've got a new warning here. This is the missile launch warning. And over here at the same time, this ML light is going to be flashing red as I go. Sure enough, visibly, I can see that here with this white streak. That is the SAM site that has just launched on me. Just a little note about this missile launch warning. This is actually independent from the RWR. What this is looking for is the infrared streak of a missile being launched. This will come alive whenever anybody launches any missile in your nearby radius, whether that's an airborne missile, whether it's from a friend or from a hostile. So this is why it's very important, especially in multiplayer, to call out missile launches, even when you're launching Mavericks, because that lets any allies know that that missile launch warning that they've got is something that they can safely ignore. Otherwise here, because I do have a missile launched on me, I do now want to be going very evasive, so I'm just going to unpause this again. So I can hear that high-pitched chirping. I've lost the missile warning message there. That is simply because the missile was temporarily out. First stage was out. Get new missile warning signals every time a new missile is launched. So just because the M disappears does not mean you're out of danger. It just means that first stage has burnt itself out. But here we're getting continuously new stages in. I am dropping chaff and flare, going evasive. I only really need to be dropping chaff at this point. Also going to turn on my radar jammer. That will give it a bit more of a hard time. We can see there, as soon as I turned on my radar jammer, they actually lost lock. That won't always happen, but we can see that they've lost lock. The circle has disappeared, and in fact it's no longer my major threat. One final note, it's not an issue right now, but if you're getting many contacts that this screen is beginning to be incredibly cluttered, you can push this primary threat button. That will then show you only the top 5 highest priority threats. That can be useful if you're in a major SAM net or you're flying through a dogfight. You've got loads of contacts. This will help filter it out to what it thinks are the major threats that you need to be aware of. Otherwise, really, that is the RWR. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. As I said, I believe this is going to be the last one in this series. I've covered pretty much everything I think you need to know about the A10-CII. I may well have missed something, so if there's anything you're unclear about, anything you want a video about, just leave them down below in the description, and I'm more than happy to get right on that. Otherwise, I hope this series has been helpful. As always, please do leave a like if it was helpful, and share this with anyone who is learning the A10-CII who you think might benefit from it. Otherwise, I hope to catch you in future videos. Until then, remember to be kind to yourself and everyone else. Cheers.